Make a motion to start the meeting at 6:09. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Any questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Roll call of members, Mike Volpone,
David Dempsey.
Liability. Selena Muldown.
Mark Sands.
David Rule.
Alicia Greco just stepped out, she'll be back in a minute. Reading the previous minutes, Mark, the only mistake I found was you said 1705 and 1750.
Is that what you had saying?
Right here?
Should be 17.
Yeah, so.
So that's the only, the rest looks fine, no problem.
1705 you?
No, you put 1750.
Okay.
You
Well,
put
you put some-
1705.
And it should be 1750.
Okay.
I didn't even see so.
Anybody have any questions, comments, other edits? Do we have a motion to accept the minutes based on the one edit that we just discussed?
Second.
Do we hear any discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? Approved. Correspondence. What did we get from there?
We had one bill from G Mello, so I'll pay that. I did, for 137.
That's 137? Okay. You look perplexed.
It says current and then it says total. I did not pay the last two bills because the fee schedule ends on July 9th. It's a longer fee period this time around because it's the last one of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to wait. I have, what?
Wish you had paid it before July 1st.
We do have a little bit of leeway with that.
No, I wouldn't have been able to.
Why?
It's all part of it's the last warrant of the year.
Okay, oh, good.
Yeah, it's
Make sure
on
we
the
get it.
year, yeah. I'll definitely get it in on this year.
Yeah,
But it's
because,
just an extended period, so I just wanted to make sure I gathered all the bills.
Yes, as many as we
and
can,
submitted one.
I found out from Eileen in the office that the 29,000 that was applied, the overage for the RFI or the RFP for the fill house was applied to the previous fiscal year. Even though we didn't finish it, they paid it ahead of time, just to let us know. But, so, that $32,000 we had, we could have spent.
Okay,
Does
so,
that make sense to you?
yeah, it's just a matter of, I'm not sure what this is.
I don't know, I'll just pay this.
Yeah, but you're signing, you don't write the check, so Eileen will, as long as they're current.
Yeah. I'll just pay that. The numbers don't lie. But you don't know if they might be doing other parts of town?
Yes.
We shouldn't be paying for that unless it's part of it.
No, that's why I'm only gonna pay for whatever we're building.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah, because some do they do the baseball field too.
I'm sure they do Plum Island too, right?
Also,
But what does the invoice say? Services for what area? It's $137.
Town number 81 Central Street,
That's all.
Byfield, Mass. Service 1 front load, trash collection 2 yards. Monthly service fee $137.
That's what's due.
So every month is $137.
During the months that we have.
you're gonna shut it down for either July or August, or?
No, I would not recommend that. I would keep them up for the small amount of change for the people who do use it. If there's camps or other people who like to do activities. Other correspondence?
The only other correspondence was with Jean Ackerley, trying to get her to come to tonight's meeting about the senior yoga. She's from the neighboring town library, so she can't make it tonight, so that'll just have to go to the next meeting until I get a real clear picture exactly what it is she's looking for.
Okay. Correspondence. The ultimate disc that we sponsored at Manterfield, they held it for 2 days. One was actually at Triton, one was at the field. Went over very well. There was anywhere between 30 and 40 adults playing. They surveyed the users. They'd like us to offer it again this summer in August, when we're not busy on a Sunday from 10 to 2.
Is that possible to be done before the season starts, or are they looking for later in the month?
They're looking for beginning Sundays. We are looking, but the ideal time for most adult leagues are Sundays. Looking for the second week of August to the 24th, just before Labor Day.
So they want one of those days.
We would sponsor it, so it's not them, it's we. They'd love to do 3. We would love to do 3 more and get a better sense, and then maybe moving forward, it becomes instead of us just running it, they take it over and they start paying.
Alright, so if we're sponsoring this, are we paying, so what are we paying?
We're paying nothing.
Okay,
We're just not.
charging
We
them,
say,
Charging.
come in, drop in, anybody.
and that's fine, I just wanna make sure it's clear on what they asked for, so.
So
They're looking for 3 Wednesdays, 3 Sundays.
3 Sundays.
Is it possible, I know that the permits are in and all that, is it possible that we can block out time?
That's on the agenda.
Okay, good, that's what I was wondering.
So they're talking the 4th, the 11th, or the
How many-
18th.
I didn't know that process was good.
Say that again. Just one field.
I was even more big with 1 or 4.
Well, right now, Sundays are open based on Jason's application.
Okay. Are we not receiving
And
any GPS?
and we can look with GPS, if they took 2 fields, because,
Well, it sounds like they're taking over fields 1 and 2.
Oh,
GPS, because youth soccer is using all the other fields because they don't have access to Pine Grove.
on Sundays.
No. on the whole.
Can we just look at, Sundays for the month of August, so that we can get PR out? Does anybody have any objections to?
it's the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th, the 3 Sundays, from 10 to 2, 1 field. I don't see a problem with it at
From
all.
10 to 2?
So I hear a motion, actually, well, technically, we have to bring that in a new business, but it'll be a
And that was
quick thing,
correspondence.
so. So to make sure we bring that up under new business, we'll be all set there. Any other correspondence? Okay. Old business, software demonstration. So we got a chance to, see what they did at the last meeting. Has anybody looked at the sites since to see what?
I've looked
Looks
at
like-
Mendon and, it's a good product. I don't know if it's something we need right now. Most of them are using it because they have year-round programming for their recreation department. And it's mainly used for registering families as opposed to teams, what we're doing. That, when I talked to the person at Mendon, it was, we don't want to do all the collection of information. So they go online and do it. It's not really a tool for them with the fields or pool space or tennis courts.
That was one of the concerns that I had when we were doing the presentation, is that it seemed like it's more for a departmental process for registering teams, keeping track of the teams, the registrations, the paperwork, all of the permits, all of those things, the insurance forms and everything. It didn't seem like it was really user-friendly for field scheduling. That's the way I looked at it. I haven't talked to anybody yet, but I think Mendon's probably a good place to start, because I think that's basically, from what he presented, is most of the users at this point in time use it for those things primarily. It just seemed to me when he was presenting it that the field scheduling was like a secondary portion of the actual usage of it.
It seems like a much bigger project. It would be something if the entire town was using it, not just Mancher Field, but it was also being used by the baseball field over at the pond and over at the library and Plum Island. So it really, if it was something that I think Newbury would decide to use, I think it would be something that it would be a whole town piece, not just a small one Mancher Field.
So it sounds like a good idea, but once we get bigger.
Either that, or maybe there's something that's more cost effective, that's smaller, that would meet our needs. I looked into the other one that she mentioned too, and at myrec.com, and it was similar to Civic Rec. she had given us the name, or told us to look at myrec.com, that was similar, in size.
And why don't we, at this point, let's not rush into it, since there's a lot of people concerned with this.
And see
We'll
what comes.
table this, look at it again in a couple of months, and see if it,
Yeah, well, next month. I know we're not pushing this until the spring, but, you know, we need to pick something and then have it.
well, I'm talking about this group, this specific group.
Oh, okay.
If people wanna look at it, we can try to get some more other ideas, bring them to the next meeting, then we'll go from there.
Didn't you look at one at Sherburne?
But they were people I just talked to. I wasn't looking at their website,
Okay,
or maybe I did.
a long time ago.
I think they might have been my rec.
Okay.
Isn't that what Hamilton
I think it's, yeah. I think
So they're all basically the same. If you look at Hamilton Wenham, just let's assume that it's Myra for the sake of argument. Hamilton Wenham has, 12 sites that they put events at, whether it's the pool, the tennis courts, 5 or 6 different playing fields at different parts of the town.
Right.
Plus after-school stuff. So they're looking at all the registrations that go into it as a single unit. Actually, it's for both Hamilton and
Is that
Wenham.
something that we could grow into?
I think, again, if the whole town was going to use it, and there was going to be, so right now, Byfield Newbury has its own website, and so you can go on and you can see the standings and see where the teams are at, lacrosse, soccer. And I think that if all of those teamed together and there was one site to go to, that different users could go in and do the scheduling for all the different activities going on, then yes, it would be useful.
I think that one thing that would be helpful for us now is to identify what our immediate needs are and what we would really like it to do for us immediately. Because I do think it's something we could grow into. And I think the reason a lot of rec departments use it is because we have a rec department, there's usually someone who's a recreational director, an assistant, and then one secretary. So there's 3 people trying to organize like the Hamilton one. Where what happens is most of the work is transferred and transitioned over to the teams to do the registration online, to do all that stuff online. So all it is, it's really a process for helping the departments become organized, but all the input comes from the teams and from the registration and from the coaches and from the leagues. So I think what we need to do is we need to really become specific on what we want this software to do for us right now. If it's field scheduling, then we should look into a software that really specializes in field scheduling, and that would be more helpful to us. I think eventually, if there is a rec department, I think, and like you said, that it's all inclusive with the town. I think these types of softwares would be very good for us because then, a 3-person department can organize a lot of places like Hamilton Wenham. And I think it is Hamilton Wenham. It's not just Hamilton. It's Hamilton Wenham combined.
Yeah.
And I think there's 13 sites in Hamilton Wenham. And like you said, there's the pool, there's the rec area, there's the gymnasium, there's all kinds of things that they put under that same umbrella.
It also be like with us having, we have the Newbury School, Triton School, Pine Grove and all that, either a Triton type of thing, or if we were in charge of like the greens and all that stuff, but right now it's Anfield, so.
Right.
Let's see if we can find an alternate solution, come back next meeting with a smaller version, but it's something that allows us to do the scheduling for the fields and things that we need to, so. Spending plan. Mark, thank you very much for sending this out. I don't know if we got a chance to look at it.
Did we get any feedback from anybody?
Well, my reason I didn't send it over, because you and Alicia did the one from back in 17-18 regarding durable goods and all that stuff. We kind of look at the place to start, but we're also looking at the supplies we're gonna need to replace it at the field house.
So the whole idea was, the last couple months, is for people to think about what our current expenses are, what our future expenses are, project them out so that we can understand what we need to encumber our money for before we start allocating it for other projects. We can't really go planning for other activities if we don't know what we've already need to spend money on.
And then I would use this as a tool in the fall. She's gonna ask, the town administrator will ask about plans for budget time to go to the town meeting. If you have identified items that you wanna do, put them in there, and then they'll get they'll
get
get to you.
mentioned and possibly funded, but we can't
Right.
do any of that
Right.
until.
But this is where you start.
So can we spend half an hour and get some numbers so at the
Yes.
next meeting you can say,
It's something that's, it's a must, it's something that's, needs to be done.
So can I ask a couple questions? This is old. The AED, the security software, the gate, that's all,
I sent out 2 documents. One was, here's what was done, what would it be, almost 3 years ago. It was started. We never, as a group, we never followed up and completed this. I gave a blank one just to give an idea of, here are some of the ideas.
I'm
So these,
asking-
none of that stuff matters right now. We're starting with a blank slate.
Okay, and I'm asking you, does the AED and the lightning rod and the gate still need to be addressed,
No.
or is that stuff that's behind us?
We don't have an AED. We don't know if we want one or not. The security hardware, some of it has been put in the lightning rod. It doesn't.
And I feel like this is stuff that this particular list is kind of out of our control a little bit. It should be just kind of a line item, budgetary, maybe miscellaneous things that, because it's always the guy from, the highway department that kind of, they decide.
James.
If we make a recommendation saying, we would like this, as we did with the gates, as we did with the fencing, he would then go out and make the acquisition once it's been approved.
But it would be, but there's a little bit of, they make decisions and we make requests.
We don't have the authority to make that kind of purchase. He makes the purchases for us. I don't know what your question is. So the idea is, we gotta come up with,
Okay, well, let's go down the list and where you wanna go down the list.
So isn't it just this list right here? Or is it the elongated, because this is what I have. I have a blank one, and then I got that, that's what I got.
Me
Let's
too.
end back now, there's
That's what I got too.
Yeah, right there.
I didn't.
There were 2 documents.
I got 2 documents. Maybe my printer didn't print out the other app. That's what I got. I got a blank and I got a, I got
There were 2 documents, I just should.
Yeah,
What did you get?
it was on a spreadsheet.
Why did I consider just one?
No, because you need to open that thing back up,
Which one?
open the second one. 2 tabs, see the gray tab? That's where it all was, I'll put it all together in one.
and
I didn't see what we were
Just
Keep in
looking
mind,
at it.
Dave, we didn't get ideas.
Yeah. And I tried testing that.
okay.
All right, so
Sorry about that.
I have the 19 expenditure report sitting in front of me that came in as of 6/20, so almost the entire year that was here. So if we're looking at current expenditures, we just need to kind of bucket the different pieces.
Okay.
So Mello is 1. Filippo.
It's the sprinkler guy.
Can I ask a question? Does that ever work? Have anyone seen any sprinklers go? I've never seen sprinklers go.
Never needed it.
I mean, ever.
Oh, yeah, they worked, he was, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he was repairing one of the heads.
I know, but I've never seen water.
They usually go on early morning or late afternoon.
Okay.
Raleigh Ready Mix was at one time for $660. Yankee Pine was a one time for $87.22. HG Supply a one time for $342.38. Melody Filippo again. Townsend Oil for 53. Then it was, the numbers were going up to 228, 168, 280. So I'd almost say if you're looking at Townsend, I'd budget 275 to 300 to be safe, and if we're low or great, and we're high or great.
300 per,
Well, just pick a September, pick
I'm
a
looking-
payment in the
Townsend
spring or
Oil, look,
fall.
Townsend Oil here, it wasn't a fault, it didn't start until the winter time.
What are we doing with the field house in the winter? Are we shutting it down?
No, they have to keep it at 40 some odd degrees or whatever.
yeah, we don't have to drain the pipes and it keeps the foundation at a stable rate.
So, it was 228, 168, 281,
So
426.
There's always gonna be some that are gas stations, or we may use
If
it.
we pick a number in the spring, that should balance
It
out
should.
between the winter
I
and the
mean,
summer.
they've had it running I mean, they've had it heated for a while now, cause that thing's been open, but not open until springtime, but
They skipped the April bill, that's why it was so high. So just give you an idea, I mean, ballpark number again, the last bill we received was on May 23rd, but it looked like it was the April and May bill combined for 5/23. So about anywhere from 270 to 300s.
A month?
Yes.
for gas, right?
Oil. Not
Propane.
gas.
Propane.
Yeah, it should be.
And so you want that for 8 months?
Di Filippo
It
was.
should be 12, right?
No, 12.
12 months.
Okay.
His was $95 a month, but he had a $500 in, I think that was the season.
Sometimes when he opens it and he closes it,
What was the contract that came
I
in?
just dropped it off, so,
It was in the last 7 minutes, 1650, something like that.
19, $700 to turn it on and for the season.
But based on what's sitting here, Dave's septic. So
So that was the one time,
that was the first one, yeah.
those are the porta potties, right?
Yeah, portable.
Yes.
So we won't,
There's
we don't
another
wanna
one, there's
use-
another one for
we
125.
don't wanna
on
use
20.
them though, we wanna
Right.
use
Yeah.
Wilkinson.
Right, we are using Wilkinson.
So what was Wilkinson's bill, and we'll budget that one in.
Wilkinson, we do not have a bill for Wilkinson or an expense on this list. Oh, take the back, very last one, to 125.
So 125 times 12, or
No, we don't keep them there year round, probably 8 months.
They come out the end of
March.
November, so December, January, February, and March, so 8 months.
8 months it is?
And that's for the handicap cop.
Any cop?
It's about, so,
It's the cop.
all right, so Mello's 170 a month. Sprinkler system, you said was what, 1,700?
I think roughly for the year. Maybe we should budget
2,000.
2,000, because when he needs parts, he needs,
But he has a contract, right?
but that doesn't include parts.
Mello, is that year round?
No, that, again, that's like the porta
It's
potties,
like
they end it.
All right, so let's say it's 1,600 to be safe. 2,000 for the sprinklers. Townsend is 300 a month. Is that 12 months?
Yes.
So it's 3,600. And 1,000 for septic. Those are on this.
Electricity, have we gotten electricity?
I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I haven't heard about, does the town pay for the electric?
I have no idea, nobody asked, I mean,
Please. Find out if that's gonna hit our budget, because it has not as of yet.
I assume the town.
They own the light poles.
Maybe we should say it. They do own the light bulbs. I got that. That was a little contentious meeting, wasn't it? That was a lot of fun.
The fall mowing was 8,000,
Dave is an annual amount?
and then the spring was 54, so 13 and a half
15.
For what?
mowing, right?
I could go
It's
into
year round.
those buildings, grounds,
Spent 13.
you know, is that,
But we're gonna budget 15 to make sure we have it. And then we go from there.
Does the town do the mowing or?
Yes, because the town places that did it before it, we're charging almost double that, or 1.5 times. So we saved a lot of money by doing that. The 15 just in case we have to deal with something, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Should we budget something for, grass seed or repair
Or
or?
is that part of the equation?
That's been part of the equation.
I thought it was, like you said it before, but
He does usually 2, sometimes 3 fertilizations, 1, what's that, so like weed control in the spring.
Did you get the septic already?
Yep.
So we haven't really done a septic, we haven't done a cleaning yet, correct?
no.
No, he did porta potty, he has not done septic.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay, so we still have to figure it out. We don't know, right? We have no idea what septic's gonna be.
That's portable.
And does there any plans on doing that?
Do we have a ballpark, what, is it
I thought-
1,500?
Didn't we look into that?
Yes, we did. When I spoke to, what was it, Stewart's, they said the size of the thing, I think you said 2,500. Usually the first year people don't do anything because it's so small. And if they did that every year, it'd be about $1,000. That's where I came up with, or somebody came up with this.
Do they think that once a year on a facility like that is enough?
They don't know. What they would do is after, you could have somebody come in the middle of the summer and take a look at
So
it.
should we budget
1,000.
2 and then back it off? You know?
I did 1,000 first, just to get an idea, because we don't know yet, and that's what's gonna be, if we find out, I mean, we could do it, but.
Alright, do 1,000, but then are we gonna like put aside like $5,000 for miscellaneous cost overrun things?
I would think that would make sense.
Would it make sense to call them tomorrow and get another idea?
We've gone through,
Yeah.
that and estimate.
It's
Right
kind of-
now, it's a
It's just,
matter
we don't know
It's a
yet,
mystery.
we haven't opened it yet, that's why.
It's a matter of asking DPW to make the arrangements, so you wanna be there when you open up the tank, to take a look inside, take a measurement of what was used this spring, make a determination at that point where it needs to be pumped out regularly at the end of the spring, and let the professionals handle it. They don't know anything until they look inside and take a measurement.
To just give everybody a quick idea, so we look at Mellow, 1,600. Di Filippo, 2,000. Townsend Oil, 3,600, that's 300 times 12. The porta potties, 1,000, the septic, 1,000, plus the mowing, 15, it's $23,200.
How much is fire? Fire alarm? Burnett?
I've never gotten involved with that.
There's one here, $150, is that annually? Because it's only Burnett we have on there.
I think it's quarterly.
Is that because,
Do you get the bill from Eastern Propane?
No, Townsend.
no, Townsend Oil.
Townsend Oil, okay. And they said they haven't seen the electric bill yet, it hasn't come yet. So, either it's, when they bought the building on Plum Island, it comes with its own address, and they haven't seen one for Central Street yet.
So we're gonna have it.
Eventually, when National Grid catches up, it's such a small, probably such a small number, they haven't caught up.
Because it's only a couple of lights and,
In the propane, something has to run the heat, right?
yeah, which we have.
Which we believe is the Townsend Oil Company.
So Townsend sells gas too,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do both.
So,
and then cleaning,
I was about to say.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
how about ADT or what security we use as, the alarm system?
She thinks it's Eastern.
How much is that?
Which, what was the one, the Burnett or Burkett?
Burkett is the fire system,
That's 150.
okay.
Burkett should just be an inspection. Check, is it a
Yeah,
water sprinkler system or is it a?
There's no suppression, it's just a notification. My understanding is, if I were chief, that a smoke fire alarm is placed inside the building to monitor. I'm not an expert in that area.
Is it a hot fire alarm that rings at the fire station if something goes off, or is it just
That's my
battery
understanding.
operated local?
Looks like it. That's
So
my
is that 150 an annual thing when they go back and inspect it, or is it, you think it's
I
a
don't
one-time?
know.
Let's
If I
budget,
had to guess, it would be an annual thing.
so let's say the annual, so 150 there. So the cleaning, the alarm, and the electric are 3 areas that we don't have figures for yet.
Well, we have a cleaning figure, cause
Or was
we
it,
have a bill,
it's
it's
a lot.
$900 for 1 month of May.
So we're talking every month, or are we talking, again, the 8 to 10? Because it's not gonna be open in the winter time, so
But we can back off how often they.
Hold on, can you go back and say that number again?
$900.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
$225 a week, $225 a time.
Even though no one's using the bathrooms, it's still being for 3 days a week.
$75 a day, we worked it out, it's about $900 a month. Do we know how that company got hired?
Does that include supplies?
She works for that
Who's
company.
buying the supplies? Are they buying the supplies?
They come through DPW, she contacts DPW and they
So we haven't gotten those supplies.
25 each time, 3 times a week,
Yeah.
52 weeks a year.
At the
Well,
last
right
meeting-
now it is.
Last meeting we talked that we would get through the spring and then look at what kind of programming we would have in the summer. Because there's no sense having them come in 3 times a week if there's no activities going on. So when the building gets open,
6 months.
we would have them come in that night and clean it. It was like a 1-day event. If it's a camp, maybe the first night and the third night.
Okay, so for the month of July, how many times do you expect them to?
I don't expect them at all.
Right now, they're just, unless someone's talked to anybody, they're coming
3 times a
3
week.
times a week.
And right now, we only have someone this week, so July 2nd, and then if it's approved, Sphinx will be at the field every Tuesday, but he's there tonight, and he didn't even realize there was a bathroom there. And then GPS has a camp July 29th to August 2nd, and August 12th to the 16th. Other than that, I don't know of anyone else using,
2 weeks, what are the dates, August what?
it's July 29th to August 2nd, and August 12th to August 16th.
So are you taking over the calendar now?
I just,
I make a motion.
It's gotta go into new business, we can give her a hard time
I'll be
now.
right back. No, I
So,
just-
but it's still, it's $900 a month for the months we're using it, not talking the summer and all that stuff. I mean, you're talking $8,000 right there.
That's a lot of money.
I'm just puzzled by the 3 times a week.
Yeah,
The decision was made
By-
by
town administrator.
town administrator and the head of DPW to ensure that the buildings kept at its optimal cleanliness, that 3 times a week was required.
It's kind of like, the opening, we opened it, we didn't wanna have someone come by and have it look like a dump. And say, oh, they spent all this time in this building and it looks like a dump. So I think it was kind of like, what I thought was, we'd hit it at the very beginning, do it 3 times when the season was hustling and bustling. And then maybe, I don't know.
Well, can we make a request back it on?
I think that's what she's doing right now.
And then the other thing is, this isn't the kind of thing that we can get senior citizens to do, can we?
Well, that was the original proposal way back when, is to have a senior actually do the opening up of the building, broom clean it, make sure it was presentable a couple times a week, and then once a week have a thorough clean.
Yeah.
But that's still a possibility, it's just a matter of us making the decision to do that, filling out the paperwork for the council of aging, and find somebody to do it.
Awesome.
But does it have to be approved by the town,
Which part, the council of aging?
changing the cleaning process?
It's a matter of talking to the town administrator, saying, here's an alternative plan, that would reduce our expenditures by X amount, and provide activity for us.
So the question we're gonna find out now is on the cleaning supplies, are those getting billed to us from the DPW back through? Or are they just getting there and it's attached to the cleaning supply? So we still have the cleaning supplies, the alarm system, the electric. We've gotta decide numbers on those 4.
Well, they bought all that stuff. And we never heard anything from them.
What
They,
stuff?
all the stuff that was, that they, when we opened the building, there was brooms, there was mops, there was toilet paper, there was everything. There still is stuff in there, right?
and she had mentioned, or back, remember that fiasco when there wasn't any toilet paper?
Yeah.
And then at one of our meetings, we had asked, and she said that, Susan?
Yeah.
It said that the cleaning company should be contacting DPW directly for supplies, it shouldn't go through us.
But the question is, are we gonna get billed for it? They're not going through us, it's fine, but I think it's a question of we get billed or not.
I can send email out to DPW and asking them to, going forward, you can see if he takes it for this past year, but going forward, that any supplies required for the field house, that they get sent to us. Or notification moment, because we won't be paying, he'll be paying, and Eileen can
They'll
shift the
be
funds.
a lot of money.
Can we also send as part of that email, Mark, can you also send to them that, we feel that the present expenditures for the cleaning are, I don't wanna use the term astronomical, but they're excessive, and the fact that under the present contract, it's being cleaned even when it's not being used, is there a better way that we can look at how
I
to
think that's what-
process?
I think that's what
These are let's just start right now.
Alicia's doing.
Okay, but I think, does that request have to come from us?
I think town manager.
We can just bring notice to DPW and he'll talk to town manager about it.
Alright, so still, the only two things, I mean, the electric's gonna be about $80 to $100 a month. Is it gonna be that much?
Is what?
The electric,
Depends on the time of year, I suppose.
it's nothing to do with.
I would say $80 a
Cool.
month, wouldn't you? I mean, there's nothing going on there, right? It's just those couple lights, and I assume they're fluorescents or LEDs.
LEDs.
Yeah.
So-
Assuming there's nothing going on downstairs. I know with my barn, when I have a freezer, it's like $13 a month.
Yeah, it should be.
I mean, I was saying $1,000 a year was a saving.
So, the only thing that we don't know about is I don't know how that radio transmitter thing works, whether that's on 24/7 and there's energy used there.
Right.
And I don't know, are we gonna get billed for, obviously there's a fee for it.
average.
I'm gonna put
Yeah.
that on.
Spreadsheet, yes.
Are you also, can you, this whole side note, but when these applications come in, can we keep the document that we used to determine the fee structure when these applications come in? Can we keep tracking
Okay,
going forward?
so are they gonna use the same form?
I digress.
Okay. So electric, how much?
The electric 900, which is $75 a month.
Okay. The transmission, wireless service, whatever you wanna call it?
We have wireless now?
That's the radio automatic lock thing.
We have no idea, we have to find out because it just got implemented.
Are you doing everything with that? What's that?
It doesn't work.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
But didn't they vote at the last meeting that we're not part of that anymore?
The one with
No,
the
she
loud.
said we needed to come up with who was going to be in charge of the doors. Who would be in charge of the app.
yeah, she said something like, it would, instead of having all of us have a number, there'd be certain people that would have.
Which makes sense, because if it's, done remotely, there's really no reason, and if they can put it on a timer, that's even better.
Well, that was the question, she also wanted to know what.
Can you stay back with
Well, we're trying to figure out the cost of
Yes.
average. Right?
Yeah, that's, so we need to reach out to Susan and get an idea what that is.
So did you say that's not working?
I'll reach out to Susan.
We've just been doing it on this one.
Alright, so we still have the alarm system and some unknowns still right now.
and iBridge,
Well, I don't have that, I mean, that's an email. It's like the cleaning service we have to email, the cleaning supplies we have to email, wireless we have to email.
the cleaning, we gave a rough guess estimate of saying it's currently $900 a month for 4 months.
That's $8,000, that's $3,600 for 4, but that's, we still have the other season, so it's realistically, it's probably 8 months that we're using it for. And if you're using 900 times 7, so you're talking $7,200 then.
Is that what yours says? Mine says it's.
So we say just 7,000?
Okay.
We good with 7? So the cleaning, we're gonna allot $7,000. So it's just the supplies, we have to get confirmation along with the wireless. Any other expenses we know we need to come up with at this point.
So that 7,000 for cleaning doesn't include supplies?
We don't know if it does or not. We don't think it does?
Well, it might include cleaning supplies, but it's not going to include toilet paper, paper
I think,
towels.
yeah, I think that in the kitchen area, I thought there was a bucket, a mop, they gave us all and I think they had, sort of cleaning stuff, there's.
What about water? I know the fields are sprinkled on well, but is the water source to the building town water?
It is town water. Byfield Water. We have not heard from them either.
But they've been doing sprinkling for years.
No,
Sprinkling is
sorry
town
about
water.
like the bubblers and the.
Oh, the ones,
sink.
the stuff in there?
Yeah,
No, we haven't got
and
that.
now, if one of the users decides to take over, that's gonna be a cost. Like if someone does the snack shop, there's gonna be a cost there. use that water.
Can we go back to the cleaning supplies? I'm kind of puzzled by the whole thing. Can we separate that from toiletry material usage or toiletry supplies and cleaning supplies so that,
I think one's a service and then the other one's supplies.
that's what I'm saying, so
The stuff that they're using to clean the floors and doing that stuff, that should be part of their budget.
exactly.
But things that we're using for paper towels and toilet roll stuff, that would come out of our budget.
So,
I think when we said supplies, there were mops and toilet paper, paper towels, sponges, that kind of stuff that was left there, so that if there was an incident, that the user, who's ever in that building, could take care of that problem.
right, clean up that immediately.
Clean, yeah,
Right.
and that.
Someone getting sick or something like that or
Yeah.
something. But what I'm saying is, as far as our budget, we should be able to separate paper goods, the napkins, the tissues, the toilet paper, all of that stuff from the cleaning supplies, and the cleaning supplies should be contractually under the contract of the company that's coming in and cleaning it. I mean, they don't come in and use our supplies, do they?
I don't know. I don't think
That's a good
so.
question.
I would think they'd bring their own mops, their own things
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
I would think there'd be, like you said, a set of cleaning supplies in case something happens, in case of an accident or somebody, you know. But I think other than that, we should be able to separate our paper goods and our daily cost of someone coming in and have to replace the toilet paper and the napkins and sanitary napkins and all that stuff, I think should definitely be part of a separate budget.
Yeah, I don't think if we ended up going to the process of getting someone from the senior center or, then at that point, I think that.
I pick up the
We-
cost,
we-
we
we-
would pick up
But I
the
think
cost
that
of
would
the
the
cleaning
cost would be
supplies, right?
pretty minimal.
That would offset, that would offset that.
Yeah.
Alright, so just give an idea real quick, so. Again, I'm gonna put this on a spreadsheet, I'll email it out to everybody, so Mello, 1,600, Di Filippo, 2,000, Townsend, 3,600. Porta potties, 1,000. Septic, 1,000. That's $23,200. Oh, and the mowing, sorry, mowing 15,000, that's $23,200 in that amount.
So we still.
From there, you have the electric, 900, which is $75 a month. The fire, annual inspection's $150. The alarm system we don't have, the cleaning supplies we don't have. The cleaning is $7,000 based on what we're looking at. That puts us at $31,250. No, we still need to clarify the supplies, the wireless, and the water bill. And we have a $50,000 budget. So right now, we're down to under $19,000 to use for the programs and different things.
And that's not counting a $5,000 miscellaneous overture expenses.
Write that down?
So you were gonna put it in your
Plus
spreadsheet?
5. How do you use that?
Plus or minus rainy day fund.
Or you could do a percentage of the third.
5,000 makes more sense.
And if it doesn't happen, we can put some more fencing, I like fencing.
Well, then that goes to, those are the reoccurring costs that we anticipate. Then it becomes durable and consumable goods, whether it's fencing, whether it's a project, whether it's a program. And that's, Jesus would.
So this kind of all falls in an operational durable goods section. So the only thing left we have is money that we want to put towards program.
Well, no, the durable goods could be replacing the walkway that was removed for safety reasons. That would be a durable good.
Buying some chairs and tables for we got this beautiful room, and we could probably run some kind of program in there, but we have no table or chairs in that building.
And to your yes, to your question, there was a path that was established about 19 years ago, where the Boy Scouts put some pressure-treated wood across the marsh. That was pulled up about a year ago.
No, I know what it is, we'll do that, just jog on it.
I took it off.
Oh, you did.
Is there a bathroom?
Oh, no, I just.
Do you have keys?
No.
I would have moved you, but I was in that.
Interesting move.
So the question is, are there
Sorry.
durable goods that we want to allocate funds for?
Well, I think we need to make a list and then figure out what year we wanna do what.
Yeah, because right now, if I had the $5,000 bump, now we're into 36,250, so we're down to 13,750 left. And that still doesn't include supplies, the wireless, and the water bill.
I don't think they're gonna amount to that much, but
Do you think we're gonna be talking
I think.
$3,500 combined for those three? Okay, I'm just
So then you
asking.
have year 5, right? So
Yeah,
that gives
I have
our-
5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so that gives our buffer.
So worst case, I mean, we're probably gonna somewhere in the $11,000 to $12,000 range we're gonna have to do things with. That'll be in the durables, that'll be in the programming and things we can do at that point. This is a good start. I'll write it up, I'll get it out to everybody. It may not be perfect into the buckets, but we'll get as close as we can always readjust it.
I guess the water bottle filler was out and too expensive.
For what?
A water bottle filler,
there can be grants for those. We worked on one, we're working with another agency that has access to it. Those would be,
I thought it would be a good idea, but then I'm afraid that kids are fiddling with it.
they're gonna use the fountain. It would cut into the sales of anybody selling water, but it would be a more environmental responsible thing to do.
You wanna find out how much it's gonna cost?
I think they're like 5K.
Talking about environmentally, as you know, cleaning up the fields, and if you lift up that lid, there's like 5 million plastic bottles in there. And sometimes I feel guilty that we don't have, and I know that things
Oh, recycling bin.
yeah,
Oh, can we put that on the list?
That's a great idea too.
it kills me looking in there.
But we should talk to Mello about that, because Mello has a recycling plan.
They may charge.
Chargers. Yeah, we could do it free down.
You're
by our
next.
place.
You're next.
I don't have any, I have just a small idea.
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna come and give us I've seen you running around the building, so you're getting numbers from the information person. So please,
Ellen's getting the numbers. The last bill that was paid was on 6/20
which bill?
for the cleaning service,
Yes, okay.
and it was $105. So Ellen,
I take it
got-
back. That was council and aging.
okay, never mind.
So-
I have a bill right here for $900.
Oh, can I have a copy of that?
I haven't paid it yet because I was waiting for the, get closer to the last,
Okay.
I was waiting to get, this is the last warrant, and so I wanted to make sure I had all my bills before I submitted.
So I'm going to talk to Amy.
Can I ask a question in your
Yeah.
journey? We're trying to find out about the water bill, supplies, and the wireless that needs to be done, the
iBridge,
iBridge.
it just,
What's it called?
iBridge.
Right, that
That's
doesn't
a
work,
Susan.
it hasn't worked since
Here,
we put it in there,
But we need to know if we're gonna charge a month for it.
for the thing that doesn't work, for this
Oh, and then
We get the point.
Oh, I'm sorry,
recreational software, that isn't, gonna be available.
So
oh, yeah.
if you don't mind, I'd like to check this with James.
Before I pay it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I like that. You can make us very happy if we're killing our budget without it.
I'll check it out with him. And say, can you identify these dates though? This is dated the 31st.
Right,
It's,
it's,
Hi,
Hi,
I'm Ellen.
I'm Mariah, nice to meet you.
Alan, do you know everybody?
Hello.
Celine, Mark, Sam,
Oh, you.
David Roll,
How are you?
and David Dempsey.
David Dempsey. Hi, how are you?
Yes, so she or her father goes in every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday around 8:30 at night.
But I was wondering, can you identify if these dates were
Accurate?
Did they show
Yes.
Cleaning up
Did
people.
they need to clean it?
No,
There was no there.
no, they would,
during the
They
season,
were there, but they probably didn't get clean, but they're still getting paid to go that day.
right, there hasn't, so since,
So they just go and look at it?
well, there was one night that I was there locking up and she was in scrubbing below the sinks in the snack shack area that she said hadn't been cleaned since it was installed. So I don't think she's just sitting around doing nothing, she finds things to do, but she's being hired to clean the bathrooms and the bathrooms aren't being used.
Okay. We sit down with James tomorrow.
Okay.
You just let
I just need to.
her listen, she'll funnel through us or funnel through one of us. We're just trying to put together our budget for the year.
We'll talk on Monday, because Monday or Tuesday is the end of the warrant. Yeah, so I just need to pay it. So when you put that in the calendar, I'll send you some.
Okay, all right,
And she may, eventually, she may want to keep, because she's been doing all that.
Opening, closing.
do you still have keys or do you use the touchpad?
Well, one was trying to find out how much the touchpad's costing too, we gotta find out
Yeah.
if it works.
The touchpad is big.
You can use the touchpad, but there's no,
The average is.
the app doesn't work. But I don't have a key to get into the larger room.
Alright,
So
so can you turn your keys in and you want his keys,
Yeah,
okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think there's other ones out there, right? He might have some too. He does.
You were the only two with keys.
And I didn't mean to,
Now you two,
I didn't mean
those
to,
are the keys.
I didn't mean to let go, but I was in a tizzy that day. I was in a tizzy that day.
We're on the air.
I understand. Mariah, if you wanna come tell us before you leave.
Okay.
Right now, it's showing unlocked.
I got unlocked too. That's what I
Because
got.
I'm amazing. I gotta say this to make it fun.
Yeah, no,
What's today?
I bet you're not connected.
yeah.
Well, I can't help that. I said,
See, mine says the same thing. Did you?
So can we add the website, cause that's gonna be a recurring, the calendar software as a recurring yearly expense that we get to TBD.
Well, that could be, because we haven't made that, that's not to be a recurring cost, because we haven't voted on it.
it'll be a
No, but I'm
cost, but
just a running list of things that are gonna,
On a separate list of ideas of where to allocate.
yeah, no, yeah, it's coming.
Did you shut? I don't know. I don't play with your phone. Like if you shut off that app and then start it up again, does it go through the whole process? Have you done that before?
Not today.
Yeah, and because for some reason I was able to.
So you're saying.
Yeah, see, I got the same thing. So like if you go, I don't know how you kill your.
Can we go back to this and talk about that later?
That was starting.
alright, so I think we've got a good start with what we need to put together.
Can I ask everybody to come back, next week, before next week, the next meeting, send me your thoughts, ideas, and numbers for whether it's adult programming, youth programming, durable goods, consumable goods, so we have a whole list, and then we can go down and see what we want to do for the next year, and what we don't wanna do, and what we can afford to do.
I can tell you some right now. I like the idea. I'm gonna look at your hockey record.
Okay?
I'm gonna find out what's on there.
For what, the hockey?
Put a thing down there.
Do we write down something about getting a recycling container?
Yes, it do.
Do you wanna get numbers on that? Pick up and how much it,
Mellow or?
yeah,
Well, Mel's gonna charge us. You're talking about just buying a recycle bin, or
and then who?
how big?
DPW.
Who's gonna empty it?
Well, DPW, yeah. That's what their job is, right?
I bet you it's cheaper to have DPW do it than
Let's not just assume that they're just gonna do stuff.
not.
Okay,
No, we're
yeah.
asking.
Okay.
Okay. And we have that for the next meeting, I will have this up before that,
Alright.
we'll figure the next meeting's gonna be on. The new group, Sphinx, I went down after our last meeting and met with them, oh, do you have more news before I
Well,
change?
no, they're gonna, she's gonna, I think Alan's gonna, too many E's. Alan's gonna circle back with James and involve that, but
Okay,
that's, they feel as if that's going to high as well.
we like that idea very much. I met with Sphinx after the meeting and talked to them, they originally said they would have no problems in doing it, they go 5 to 6 kids under age 10 for an hour, between 5 and 6 or 6 to 7. Originally they were saying just once a week, and then they go, if it makes no difference, then why can't I have it 3 days a week if I'm paying for the same people for 1 hour? And they're like, it's like, yeah. The only problem is you didn't tell us to do that. So he wanted to do it all the way through August, and I said, we'll give it to the end of July, and that's it. And then we'll have to redo it with a new application,
Alright, so
because then we have to look at hours and see what's going on. So they're in there for 3 1-hour sessions, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, through the month.
I gotta make sure I have this.
Sunday through Tuesday,
For 1 hour, 5 to 6 kids.
and what's the hour, so that.
It's either
I
5 to
unlock
6
it
or 6 to
after.
7, that's what they said.
Sunday through Tuesday?
Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Oh, so now it's 3 days a week?
Yes, that's what he hit me with it the day I walked down there. And legitimately, I have no argument because they're paying for the fee.
Yeah, but they need to, yeah.
No, they're paying,
I
well,
know,
yeah.
but they need to,
I understand that. But
that's,
that's why I said, he wanted to go into August, I said, I can't do that because it's a new season,
so it's until 7:23, or until 7:30.
7:30. 7:31.
And it's still just field 5A and B?
Just 5A and B.
Where's 5A and B? Which one are those the small fields?
The small fields, yes.
Alright, so yesterday, if we're bringing this up, yesterday I went by, because I was waiting for my barbecue, and there was an activity going on right in front of the field house, a little bit towards, and a couple goals set up, and I think Jason from Triton Youth Soccer was there, and some other guy that looked professional that had 2 soccer goals and was instructing somebody.
Was there a permit was there a permit issued for that space?
No.
So it doesn't matter.
If it's a for profit,
The space is used for, we don't know what it is, number one. Number two, if nobody's using that space, then it's free for people to use. That's why we give out a permit. There's no guarantee there's space available.
so like if I wanted to sell beer, I can't sell beer. Let's say I wanted to sell hammers, and I decide to go down there and put my hammer stand up with all my hammers, there's nothing anyone can do about it?
The original, the one that we passed two versions ago said that you couldn't sell anything out without permit and permission. I don't believe our new document states that.
I just-
If you're using the fields,
So anyone can use the fields whenever they want,
as long as they're not being, yes, because that's why we issue a
but
permit.
for,
If it's an organized group, it should not be allowed though.
yeah, that's what I'm,
But any sporting activity is gonna be an organized group.
for profit, I thought we went through this, I thought if you were making a profit, that's, so in theory, then GPS can come and just use the field because, well, no one's using it, so they go on the field.
I hear what you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. The fields are public space.
I just, I will talk,
People get to use the fields. If they organize it and they wanna use it, because nobody else is permitted to use it, that was one of the reasons why other towns have their fields always booked, so nobody can go in
But
and just use it.
what I'm saying, I know what you're saying, that the fields aren't being used, but if you decide that you wanna, we got a guy that's running a program out of it right now. The fields are empty, but he's paying us to do it, cause he's a for-profit making money. If there's also another for-profit or for-profit that's over using that space, even though there's no one using it, is that right?
I hear your statement, I'm not making a judgment whether it's right or wrong.
I'm just asking, does
Are you
this,
making the decision because they're making a profit or there's an organized group to use it?
I'm gonna put a whole nother spin on the conversation. Let's say an organization shows up, because they know every night on Sunday night at 5 o'clock the fields are empty. So they organize a camp, or they organize a soccer clinic, or they organize something.
Pickup game.
And they don't have a permit. And they just walk on, they say, okay, no one's here every Sunday night at 5 o'clock, so we're gonna show up until someone tells us not to. What's our liability?
It's public property.
So if someone falls in a sprinkler and splits their head open and gets a concussion, there's no liability at all, is that what you're telling me?
If there's gross negligence, understand, and I'm sure you do, the liability of a town versus a private industry, there's a cap to it. So if there's gross negligence on the part of the town, then yes, we're liable. If it's because they fell over a white line,
No, I'm talking about if there's a sprinkler head that doesn't go back down, and it's up.
town,
Sprinkler head comes up,
as it would with any
So,
organization,
right,
town.
so what I'm saying is if someone's permanent, don't we ask them to make sure they have insurance? Don't we ask them for liability
Yeah,
purposes?
because they're getting non-exclusive use of the property.
Right,
The installation.
but if someone just shows up,
Yes.
do we have the same liabilities if a sprinkler head doesn't go down and some kid gets hurt?
Public building.
Yes, if somebody's walking the dog in the
Like that
field
was
and
the
they trip on
system
this
that
field,
we put
yes,
in
we're responsible
laws.
for it.
Okay,
I just,
That's.
So why are
So
we
I don't
letting
know
people
the
just come
monthly
on the
charge,
field?
yeah.
It's private property.
Him and
yeah,
the
but,
name.
and I understand the private property part of it.
If there is a monthly
My
charge.
question is, can someone, I don't know,
You don't have to
I guess
worry
that's a
about
question
the
for the town. I just,
Rest of it you didn't pay for that.
it seems odd. Alicia, this is our question. There's a group that I saw the other day, and I'm not sure, but I have an idea. It's a for-profit group that's making money by maybe teaching kids how to play soccer, and they're on our fields.
And
Is,
they're not scheduled,
they're not scheduled, but they just,
show up and use it.
that's okay?
No.
That's what we just said.
Here's the question, it's public property, we don't know if they're making a profit or not. People go on the field, they're not
Alright, let me
permitted.
give you an example.
No, this goes the other way.
Yeah.
People go out and there's a pickup game for our high school students who go out and play soccer.
That's
And
fine. There's no money involved with that.
We don't know that,
Well, wait,
okay?
yeah,
We don't know what's going on. We're making assumptions. It's public property.
Mhm.
Another group goes on and says, hey, we're gonna meet here, bring your kids, I wanna teach them how to play kickball. Can we kick them off the field?
Well, if they charging the parents, or are they doing
No.
it for free?
No, they're
I'm
not.
talking about people that are charging money.
We don't know that, Dave, you're making an assumption.
No, but how do we ask? How do we approach?
Go up to them, are you,
so
are you?
let me
good
give you
parents?
an example so that you can kind of get in that gauge of this, because the town has been struggling with insurance.
That's what I was talking about liabilities when you.
Right. So, the Byfield Community Arts Center has a car, car show in Byfield Center. Everybody that shows up that wants to show their car has to sign a release form, releasing the town of Newbury. The same thing for the fireman's muster, it's gonna happen on the thing. Everyone that shows up and does that is gonna sign a release form. Those are the new Maya rules.
So do we ask people who are walking their dog to sign a release?
It's not,
I think that if there's gonna be people using the fields, like neighborhood kids coming and doing a pickup game, I believe the town of Newbury's insurance will cover that.
Yep.
If it's a group that is just not going through the proper channels and is seeing nobody using the field and showing up, and even if it's free and they have, it's an organized event, they need to have, whether they pay or whether it's free.
And
If it's an organized event, they need to sign off on the liability.
when you say see, this is, I have a very different feeling about what public property, we talked about it at the last meeting. Mariah was bringing about, if you wanted to have a birthday party in Cashman Park, you can have that. If somebody else is scheduled to use it, then you can't use it because they have a permit to use it. They outrank you, if you will.
Right.
And that was the whole purpose behind the permit. If you have a permit, you have priority over it, you're guaranteed this space. If you do not have a permit, and I agree with you
Mostly
that,
Pines, the gazebo.
Right.
whatever.
Big parties.
The point
Big
being,
difference, the
But
playground.
Mark, the discussion that I was presenting was about liabilities, and that's my concern. Was we talked about maybe a sprinkler head that came up and then go back down. And there's a group that shows up at 5 o'clock on Sunday night, and there's an instructor there teaching them how to, play soccer, how to play kickball. And someone gets hurt because that sprinkler head didn't go back down. What is the town's liability? And you say it's public property, so anybody can use it. My question is, if we know that people are doing this, why don't we have them fill out a liability disclosure or a liability waiver?
They should be,
That's,
and the other part about it, again, I know
unless
it's
they have
probably,
their own insurance policy.
And
If
that-
they have
but
their
that
own
comes-
insurance policy,
but
they
the
don't
only,
need to do
but,
it.
right, but that's why we have the permit process, because they have to show their insurance
Correct.
policy, so that it waives the liabilities of the town.
so look, I've seen, and I know, cause I see the people doing certain coaching events at certain things, and I see the same people over the summer running little things and the little kids, and there's someone making money by using our fields.
Well, then they're not permitted, somebody needs to approach them, and maybe I'll ask, I don't know, if police are the right people to know.
I don't know, and I saw them, so, I don't know how to.
When are they there?
This was just, it was a Monday night thing, and it might have been carryover from your group, I'm not really sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Well, yeah, it's probably the same.
It was 7:30, and
that was a little late, they were saying 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, but.
It was,
Are they permanent or they just staying
Yeah,
later?
no, they're permanent.
Oh, so
I think
that's
that's the
fine.
same.
I don't know,
If the
but I
same-
don't
if
know.
it's the same
Well, then
group.
isn't it? If you're permit, I mean,
If
this
you're
is,
permitted, you should be showing insurance.
that's not the question I had. You just said that it's okay for somebody who's permitted to go over their scheduled time.
Because they showed insurance.
Okay.
If they don't have
Well, it's really not okay
insurance,
to go over your scheduled time.
well, that's a whole different ballgame, but we're talking about insurance.
Again,
See, I'm good if you're talking about kids from town going out there and kicking the ball around, or something
The town
else.
does have insurance for that.
but when, as we saw
There's an
last
organized
year
group doing it.
with the what is it, the football team, the flag football team started just bringing their kids over and doing practices over there. So at
is
this
that
point,
okay?
they can't because
They're
what
not
she
supposed
said, they're not supposed to because they have to be permanent.
But it's not,
They have to have
it's
insurance liability.
I hear what you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, these are a bunch of fathers who bring their kids behind Salisbury Elementary or to Mantor to play catch with some of the local kids. And that's what they're doing, can we kick them off?
No, I mean if it's Newbury people,
That's not
but
organized.
but it's not organized.
Do we should ask them for ID?
We know who
This-
our users are.
This group is, I don't know.
This is a slippery slope that we're getting into.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
Mark,
just, I guess what the slippery slope is, I always feel like, I hate to feel like our fields are being used because they've always been used by certain groups and they feel like they can go and use them whenever they want to.
Agreed.
And it's for profit. So,
There's two issues here though, there's the insurance liability issue and then there's the policing issue. How do you police it? That's the other thing, is you can set out a policy and say that every organization that comes, profit or nonprofit, needs to come in and submit a permit and fill out.
They need to.
And then, but how do you police it? How do you police that policy?
Isn't that in the policy?
No.
Isn't that in the
Doesn't
Well,
matter,
yeah,
he's
it is
referring
in
to
the
policing,
policy
is saying
that
someone
they
just walking on the
don't-
field.
Never mind the policing,
Abide by
but isn't it
the
saying that
right to
everybody
the
that works, that
Well, what-
wants to use those fields has to go through the permit process?
Yes, right,
That's
but
how it
how do
works,
we
right?
police when someone doesn't go through the
It says
process
right
and just
here.
shows up on the field?
The first line is regular use of miniature playing fields, 1 through 5A, 5B by groups shall require a permit.
Okay, so we need to know how to police it.
Right, so what happens if Dave drives by again on Sunday night and there's a group out there and no one shows on any schedule or anything, how do we handle that situation?
Well, I know when I was growing up, we used basketball courts at the park. Every Tuesday night, we met there. We didn't need a permit. There were leagues that had permits, but we didn't need it. It was space that we knew that nobody else was using at that time.
That's different. So you could say this, you could put the same argument, is that when you're walking down the street on the sidewalk and you trip and fall, does everybody that walk on that sidewalk need to have sign of release?
So what,
No, you don't.
so you want any organized group,
yes.
Any group that's organized, that
Organized.
has a website,
There's a
that
difference
has a phone
between,
number,
I think, I
that
guess,
has a group, but organized as far as neighborhoods getting together for a pickup ball game.
Right.
That's not organized.
what if,
Or
For
dad's
my
coming out and
purposes.
throwing a baseball with their kids,
Yeah,
no,
That's not organized, as far as I'm going. When I'm talking about organized is somebody that, like our users, they have a website, whether they pay a fee or not,
so
they have people show up, they have coaches, the expectation is that you're gonna show up and you're gonna be there for 3 or 4 hours, and you're not gonna, you have to go through the rec committee, you can't use the town, stuff like that.
So my question is, I think of somebody who coaches one of the local sports.
Yeah.
Can he bring his kids and some of their friends to,
For his own personal, his
Yeah.
business friends, why couldn't he?
because,
Is he organizing? Is he having a game with another group, another dad from a
no,
different
no,
town?
no games,
No,
just.
so then he's using the
It'd
field.
be no different than captain's practice.
Yeah, and what if some of these things are just, and I agree with you.
well, there's captain's practice, that's fine and
It's just
dandy,
kids
but
showing
it's,
up and
it's a
different,
group
right.
that is, now I'm not sure about this, it may be part of the group, but when I drive by and I see, like, soccer goals that they bring in, it's not like a bunch of kids that put a couple cones down or their backpacks down, these are,
But see, any of these group activities by definition are organized.
No,
They're not saying that it's not, and put it right out there, is trying to use soccer, trying to get more practice, or there's a bunch of parents who also do the same thing.
No, you're confounding the two. You're
Am I?
confounding the two, yes, you are. Organization for our purposes is different than, I mean, organization, if you look up the word in the dictionary, you can have 17 different.
I understand that.
So, but for our purposes, it's somebody that is organized as far as they have a website, they have people that sign up, they have users, whether or not they take a fee.
Okay, you're looking at, see, I don't wanna make the assumption, but I believe I understand who Dave's talking about. He's there with his, I think, daughter and her friends.
Yep.
As a dad.
Do they live in Newbury?
Some of them do, yeah. Some of the kids don't. They live in Triton.
But does the dad live in Newbury?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. And that's a separate question. They want to play. He wants to bring them up and play kickball.
Yeah.
Kenny?
Yes.
As long as nobody else has got the deal.
Mark, I think here's the confusion, Mark.
I'm
Let
not.
me finish. There's a difference between an organization and an organized event. Just
Agreed.
an organized event can be a group of parents that call up and say, hey, let's get our kids over, let's go down the field and kick the ball around and have some fun, and maybe even, whatever.
Agreed.
And then we'll have a cooler and we'll have a couple of sodas and relax with the kids and have fun. That's an organized event by parents from Newbury having a good time with their parents. The difference is an organization who organizes that same event
Agreed.
it requires a permit. So there's all levels of organized and organizations.
Agreed.
So, but the group of parents that organize a bunch of fun events for the kids in the neighborhood to go down and kick the ball around, have a soccer game, and laugh and have a good time about it is different than a youth soccer organization coming in and say, that field's not being used on Sunday night at 5 o'clock. So hey, 4 or 5 of your coaches can go over and have a good practice over there. That's a different issue.
I'm not
So it's all
with that.
about organizing an organization, but the group from the neighborhood is organizing an event that should not require permits and liabilities. The group that's organized, an organization that's organizing that same type of event should require permits and liabilities.
Very well put.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
Does that clear it up for you?
It wasn't. Don't make it sound like I wasn't clear. I'm just trying. I'm not putting this out here because there's a problem that we were facing, and there was concern brought to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And the concern is.
But I'm not trying to accuse you of something, but he clarified something, and he clarified it to me, but is it clarified for you? Because you still have a question, I want to continue it.
I'm not the one that needs to be clarified.
Who does?
The users need to be clarified.
Okay.
The people who step out.
We'll go approach the customer, the users.
Yeah, so my next question here is
Yeah.
how do police groups that are not permitted but show up? So I'm gonna ask, I'll have to follow up on this one and find out. I have a feeling that what they're gonna say is that the rec, if a member of the rec
Yeah,
committee
yeah.
sees somebody over there, you would need to approach them and ask them if they've gone through the process. And I hate to put somebody in that spot, but I have a feeling that's what they're gonna say.
As long as we have, like, we're not doing it without a backbone, you know what I mean? So like,
Right,
the,
but I don't do anything until I find out.
yeah, and it's not like I'm looking to cause trouble, it's just that,
No, but that's how it happened.
and I've
That's how it
heard,
happened.
I've heard this happen from other rec departments where they've had to go up and say, what are you doing here?
Right,
You can't be here.
right.
So,
And I agree with you that people shouldn't, organizations shouldn't be charging parents money and not paying a fee to the rec committee. I agree with that 100%.
I'm not
And
looking,
usually when those come up, when you find how you catch those is when it's a conflict,
Well, when someone gets hurt,
or when
or when
somebody.
something happens,
Well,
when an incident
yeah.
takes place,
It's-
that brings
but-
attention to a bad situation.
alright, sorry, I'm sorry, that's,
Alright. Next on the agenda, because we're gonna try to get through a couple more of these things and then wrap it for the night and then schedule our
sorry
next.
about that.
No, don't be sorry.
Keys in motion, sensors inside schedule, we already kind of talked about that. List of supplies, we're gonna find out about. This is one thing that actually talking to Eileen, when I found out about the additional money is the courts at Central Street for basketball. What do we have for options to raise money? If we can't get it through our
There's grant
revolving.
writing, I asked the town administrator about sponsorships.
Because that's the piece, because if we can go to businesses and say, if you'd be willing to donate X for a sign, not in a quid pro quo, but it's like to put up a sign saying sponsored by, and these businesses, so they get their just due for helping out.
Mhm.
I'd like to do that, but if we're able to do that and can give that back to them, then yeah, I mean,
I asked her about that and I haven't followed up. Let me ask her again.
okay.
Yeah, do we have to start a Friends of Newbury,
Maybe.
basketball?
I'm gonna skip, that's, we'll wait to get her feedback on that. Yoga, you put on the table. TYSA is talking about using the concession stand starting in the fall, we'll just reach back out to them. And then signs, are all the signs up?
Whatever happened to the signs?
They're still inside the
They're
Newbury
still inside.
Why do we, and how do we get them up? Do we,
I'd ask DPW and we'll make it fit into their schedule. We can have that in.
because I would hope they could get that done. That's all I had on the agenda,
Well,
other than which comes back.
Well, can we come back to, you had moved the,
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Gene asked request for.
The ultimate disc.
thank you.
Oh, yeah, the new motion. So, Mark, so there's a motion on the table, go make the motion.
Motion to the Newbury Recreation Committee hosts a drop-in ultimate disc activity on 3 consecutive Sundays, or 4 consecutive Sundays in August from 10 to 2 using one field. We'll work around the schedule if any of the soccer or lacrosse and whoever comes in can work around their schedule to take whatever fields.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I think it's a great idea,
Yes.
and I think it's a nice thing to do. I think, I'm hoping, knowing that TYSA hasn't booked the Sundays is a good news. I'm hoping GPS doesn't have an issue with it, but they haven't submitted their application, and this is coming in first, and we wanna try and do something to help.
Well, like I said, I'd rather work with them.
Yeah.
And because there's 4 fields.
Yeah, can we talk about maybe blacking out certain dates?
That's a different thing that we're talking about right now.
Okay,
Let's
I
get
just,
We can do that after.
My only question is the ultimate disc, we'll go back to the permits again. Will they fill out the permits?
We're hosting it,
Okay, so we don't need to fill out a permit on our own.
we don't, I'll
we
try to get
sure
a
about
letter
that?
ready for, to do more outreach in this area,
Yeah.
bring more people in.
But should we take the step to fill out the permit?
For the record, sure, I can do
Yeah,
that.
we should.
We can waive the fee in that regard, because we're trying to do it.
Sure.
But it's just one of those, we wanna make sure we're covering, crossing our Ts and dotting our
Right,
Is as
and if
well.
we're asking others to do it, we should do this.
No problem.
Alright, any other discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes. So we're looking at the, Mark, if you can, just because it puts us closer, see if they're open for the 8/4, 8/11, 8/18, and then we'll see it on the 25th.
Okay, so Lisa Mead is in here next week, she's town council,
Yep.
she has her office hours on Monday, they want me to ask that question of her.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make it with Lisa, and I'm gonna ask her how to police the groups that are not permitted that show up as well.
Thank you.
So I have 2 questions for Lisa. And what I did learn from Eileen is that if you do have grant writing, you do write grants, you go out for grants, the Institute of Savings.
But I don't think I'm gonna get, we're gonna
Just
get
get around
$8,000,
that.
we can certainly go to see them. But I'm saying, I can walk into the institution and say, we're looking to get money to sponsor, to build a basketball court at Manchester Field or Central Street. Would you be willing to make a donation? Here's what we're looking at, this is what you get. I did that for Yankee Homecoming, and is that acceptable?
I'm gonna ask Lisa that question.
If you can confirm that, then
Yeah.
we'll, then, cause then we can all can go to town and
What
try
she
to do
did
it.
tell me was that sometimes when you do go get grants, the people that give you the grant, they wanna be recognized as well.
Which is the same idea.
So, right.
Hey,
So-
One other question, is there a department in the town that receives state and federal grant RFPs, the announcements? that
Yeah,
you
the
know
town,
of?
office of the town
Sure,
administrator.
against it.
Okay, so maybe we should ask if there's anything to do with, recreation, drug and alcohol free, anything like that, that we can kind of maybe
Can you do that?
piggyback onto these things to say, even something like a drug and alcohol free grant to keep kids off the street, to give them more organizational opportunities, we have, leagues and basketball courts and things like that.
So there is a grant watch, that you can, so they send me all these updates, and
Yeah.
now that I know when to do that, I can start reading through.
Excellent.
Good,
And,
good.
what they do, they have,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they have.
Yeah, because you can put a lot of
They
spins
that
on
are
it, right, you can put
related
some
to
spins on some good
environment,
grants,
the
yeah.
outdoors,
right. Health,
athletics,
Health,
yes.
outside,
Yeah.
environmental, athletics, all kinds of, things that we can piggyback and put our own spin on it, so
Yeah.
that it looks as though that's gonna be part of it.
Good.
I think Tracy said that that's how that really neat basketball court in Salem was made for, just good grants.
And again, it's, I know for a fact that we did it in Lynn under the Drug and Alcohol Free Schools Act, and we were able to get some pretty good funding through that act, because again, it was about youth participation, off the streets, early evening.
Yeah, there's
you
a
know,
ton.
Yeah, early evening activities for inner city youth. We call it the Safe City Summer Program.
The drug and, what is it, drug and
Save
alcohol?
the drugs.
Drug and Alcohol Free Schools.
Free
Drug and
schools.
alcohol
Free
free
schools,
Fund
yeah.
with 571.
Yeah,
Hey, does anybody know Lenny Merritt personally?
A little bit.
Enough to have a conversation with him?
Yeah.
Because he might be a good person to tap,
I'll reach out.
state money.
I ran the drug and alcohol program, drug and alcohol free youth program, and then I think that's when he first started doing a lot of his drug and alcohol.
You wanna reach out?
Yeah, do you have do you have a phone number, any
Lenny
information?
Merritt, Lenny or you talking about Bruce Park? For Lynn,
No, it was Lenny.
Lenny?
Yeah, no,
Bruce would carry them.
Is
no, it
Bruce
wasn't
here?
Bruce, well, I think it was,
Lenny doesn't carry Lynn.
Yeah.
no, it was before, I think before he was even in office. I think that's, maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody else, but there was a person.
I mean, I know Lenny, I can ask him.
Okay,
Yeah, just ask him, maybe he's got some grant stuff that comes
you want
through
me,
his office.
if you wanna meet with him, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, we'll get the, I know him from a couple of.
All right, I
savings
have his cell
accounts.
phone, I'll text him.
All right.
So for Lisa and me, I'm only asking her 2 questions, right? How to police the groups that are not permitted, and can rec committee sell sponsorships for the basketball court? This opportunity to get grants from the state, that's a question for Lenny, right?
Yep, and also
I have
Verizon with that
actually
as well.
questions a little bit, or a third question of how do non-permitted users have, I'm trying to think of the wording for it, non-permitted users.
Yeah.
Parents have regular access to the field. So if they wanna come every Wednesday night,
I know what guys.
There were 3 guys that pulled up when I was waiting my barbecue.
Yeah.
It was really good barbecue. Monday nights are open. So just, I'm not.
Shameless plug for the
I'm not-
Rusty Can.
I'm not Rusty Can, plugging him. But there were 3 guys that showed up, and you can see they do it every night. I mean, they showed up in 3 different cars, and they did their thing. So,
But this would be, you fill out a permit every Wednesday night at 5 o'clock on what field to
Let's-
be in.
I'm just high school.
Let's find out when we get back from Lisa, and then we'll put it together. The last thing we have to do is decide next meeting. If we're gonna try to get together between now and the end of the month, the 24th and 25th are open dates. The 22nd, the 24th and 25th. The BOS meets on the 23rd, so not that we have anything scheduled beyond their board. Do we wanna meet in July, or do you wanna wait till August, or
Do you have any pressing business?
no?
And I would meet until September if we could.
No, we need to work on the calendar, we shouldn't,
Yeah.
I mean, I do think we
We
deserve
got
1
stuff
month
on,
off.
but.
Yes, I
This
Yeah.
summer,
too.
we've put a lot of stuff behind us, and this is
And
the first low-key meeting we've had in probably.
yeah, and I think Mark's a good idea with, what our other plans may be for, that money or what we wanna do for the future. If we can at least get groundwork saying, let's do this, or this, it might be good to get it done in August, at least.
I don't know who's got what for vacations come August then, if we're skipping July, going to August. I know the first week of the 5th, I'm probably okay, the next 2, I'm out.
I'm around the 5th.
Me too.
I have no friends, so.
Alright, so it's August
I was in a
5th
restaurant,
work.
I never have a vacation now.
Is everybody okay with August 5th?
August 6th.
6 o'clock.
Tuesday the 6th.
August 5th,
We
Monday
doing
night?
Monday the 5th or?
August,
Tuesday?
no, Monday the 5th. Everybody's good.
Okay.
Speak never, hold their peace. 6 to 7:30, I'll book it right after this. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn meeting at
7:33?
7:33, sure.